The black girl was dancing for the first time and felt free. When Angelina Jolie secretly witnessed this moment, she would make decisions that would change everything. If I lose my job, my brother will lose his life. Aria Washington couldn't get that thought out of her head. The 20-year-old woman's hands trembled as she scrubbed the white marble floors of Angelina Jolie's luxurious Malibu villa. Every brushstroke was a matter of life and death for her 10-year-old brother, Malik. Because the money she earned from this job was the only way to pay for her brother's leukemia treatment. Do you think her beloved brother will be able to cling to life? The villa, located on one of Malibu's most prestigious hills, with its ocean view glass walls and minimalist design, looked like a museum. But for Aria, it was just a place where she fought to survive. She would arrive at work at 8 in the morning and work until 8 at night, 6 days a week, without rest. Leaving their old, damp house every day and coming here felt like stepping into a different world. When they lost their mother 3 years ago, Aria was only 17 years old. She had dropped out of high school to take care of her brother and started this job. She had no other choice. When her brother was diagnosed with the illness, he was only 7 years old. During the 3-year treatment process, he had gone into remission twice and relapsed twice. At a young age, she had taken on the life responsibility of her brother Malik, and these were now their last chances. Malik's treatment cost $5,000 a month. Aria's salary was $3,500, and with night shifts and weekend cleaning jobs, she earned a total of $4,800. To cover the difference, she was constantly taking out loans. She had maxed out her credit cards and even borrowed money from her neighbors. The debt trap was pulling her deeper each month. "Sister, do I need to go to the hospital today?" Malik asked that morning at breakfast. The little boy was getting weaker every day. His brother was literally wasting away before her eyes. The side effects of chemotherapy were exhausting him. The young girl didn't want to lose her brother like she had lost her mother. "Yes, sweetie. We have an appointment with Dr. Chen this afternoon," Aria said with a forced smile. But inside, she was filled with fear and anxiety, because the latest test results weren't good. She was hiding this bad news from Malik to keep his spirits up. To keep her brother alive, she had given up her own desires, even her dreams. However, very soon, she would encounter a situation beyond even her dreams. Hey, before we continue with our story and its surprising ending, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let us know in the comments what city you're watching from. Your valuable support is important to us. Meanwhile, hospital visits were becoming very frequent. Even the hospital security guard, James Wilson, recognized them now. "Good morning, Aria. How's Malik?" James said with a smile. "Thank you, Mr. Wilson. We're fighting," Aria said with a fake smile. James loved Aria very much. He knew how hard she had struggled. Sometimes he would bring toys to cheer up her brother. However, she didn't know how much longer her little brother could fight against this relentless disease. Thinking about the worst-case scenario made her feel like she was losing her mind. But the miracle that would keep her brother alive would come from an unexpected place. The next morning, she arrived at the villa to start her busy day. The head housekeeper, Maggie O'Brien, greeted her. The Irish woman in her 50s was very kind to Aria. But there was someone else who didn't treat the young girl very well. "Good morning, dear. Mrs. Victoria is very tense today. Be careful," Maggie whispered. Victoria Sterling was Angelina Jolie's household manager. She was responsible for the entire running of the house and the staff. She was 45 years old, always impeccably dressed, but cold as ice. Victoria was jealous of young, beautiful girls. For some reason, she didn't like Aria. She always looked for mistakes in her work, and when she found them, she scolded her as if she had made a huge mistake. "Aria!" Victoria's sharp voice echoed through the hall. Come here immediately. Aria felt her heart racing as she hurried into the living room. Victoria was there holding a tablet, her face wearing her usual unpleasant expression. What is this standard of cleaning? Victoria snapped. Angelina had guests last night. Everything should have been perfect. She was looking for an excuse to scold the young girl. Aria was surprised. Ma'am, I cleaned everything perfectly yesterday. Is there a problem? A problem? Victoria laughed sarcastically. There was a water stain on the kitchen counter. The towels in the guest bathroom weren't folded properly. This is not professional. Aria felt her heart sink when she heard this. She had worked until 2 in the morning to finish cleaning. She had paid attention to every detail. There was no critical mistake. I'm sorry, ma'am, it won't happen again. It won't be enough, Victoria said coldly. You're the youngest employee here. You have no experience, no training. You're constantly making mistakes. These words broke Aria's heart and crushed her self-confidence. She had been working hard at this job for 3 years, trying to do her best. Whenever she felt tired, she thought of her sick little brother. Ma'am, I'm doing my best. Your best isn't good enough, Victoria shouted. You don't even realize where you work. You work in the home of a world-famous celebrity like Angelina Jolie. The standards here are very high. There's no room for mistakes, and you're not at that level yet. Maggie must have heard this injustice from the kitchen, because she came into the living room. Ms. Victoria, Aria is a very hard-working girl. We haven't had any complaints in 3 years. Victoria looked at Maggie with contempt. Maggie, mind your own business. I'm in charge of personnel management. Am I supposed to learn from you how to treat people? Hearing these words, the poor woman had no choice but to turn around and leave. Aria felt her eyes well up, but she tried not to cry. She needed this job. Her brother's life depended on it. Ma'am, please give me another chance. I'll be more careful. Victoria looked down at her with a condescending gaze. I'm giving you one last chance, Aria. But if you make even the slightest mistake after this, you're out of here. Is that clear? She said, giving her final warning. Understood, ma'am. This cruel woman had made up her mind to fire Aria. But there was something she didn't know. It wasn't Aria who would be kicked out of this house. It would be her. After the conversation ended, she walked out of the room with arrogant steps, and then Maggie came to Aria's side. Don't be sad, dear. That woman treats everyone like that. You're a wonderful girl. Thank you, Maggie. But maybe I really am inadequate. Don't be silly. You're the hardest working person in this house. Victoria is just showing off her power. But if there was anyone truly powerful in this house, it was Angelina Jolie, the owner. And the real power show had yet to begin. Aria worked even harder throughout the day. She tried to make every corner and every surface perfect. She even continued working during her lunch break. The fear of being fired had deeply affected her. At 5 o'clock, Angelina Jolie arrived home. The world-famous actress was as elegant and captivating as ever, but Aria hardly ever encountered her. Victoria told the cleaning staff not to disturb Angelina. According to Victoria, they were people from different worlds. Do your job quietly, stay out of sight, she always said. But tonight, Aria would be seen. By 7 in the evening, Aria had almost finished her work. Angelina was in her office upstairs, and Victoria was at a meeting. Maggie had gone home. The villa was quiet. As Aria checked the living room one last time, a classic love song began playing on the radio. It was a very familiar song, and it always gave her hope whenever she heard it. She used to listen to it with her mother when she was alive. Thinking no one was around, she got lost in the rhythm of the music. Perhaps she wanted to forget her troubled life, at least for a moment. Then she slowly began to dance. It was the first time she had felt free in 3 years. She held the cleaning cloth like a microphone and began to sing. This moment was very precious to her, because she had forgotten all her fatigue, stress, and fears. Even Victoria's strict rules, there was only music and hope. But there was something she didn't realize yet. Angelina Jolie had quietly come down the stairs and was watching her. She was right behind her. And this scene, which would change Aria's life, had a profound effect on Angelina and captured her heart. The young cleaning girl was lost in the rhythm of the music, dancing as if no one else was there. Angelina, however, was witnessing the young girl's true self, full of hope, brimming with life energy. Beautiful. As Angelina continued to watch silently, she thought to herself, "There's something special about this girl." Aria sang with her eyes closed, as if she had forgotten where she was. "One day, everything will be beautiful," she murmured. "My brother will get better. I'll go back to school, and my mother will look down on us proudly from above the clouds." These words deeply touched Angelina's heart. She could see how pure and innocent the young girl's dreams were. As Angelina looked at Aria, she thought about her own youth. She had also gone through difficult times, but this girl's experiences were much harder. A young person of 20 should not have to carry such a burden. Aria opened her eyes as the song came to an end. At that moment, she felt that the silence was different. When she turned around, she saw Angelina Jolie and froze. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Miss Jolie. I was just—" she stammered, quickly hiding the cloth in her hand. A tremendous fear gripped her. Inside, she thought, "This time I've definitely lost my job." "Stop," Angelina said in a calm voice. "There's no need to apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. Besides, you're part of this house." Aria looked at her in astonishment. The world-famous actress had called her part of the house. "What's your name?" Angelina asked, approaching her. "Aria Washington, Mrs. Jolie." "Aria, what a beautiful name. How old are you?" 20, ma'am." Angelina looked at Aria more closely. The young girl's eyes were tired, but she also saw a strong determination. This girl must have a different story, she thought to herself. "How long have you been working here?" 3 years, ma'am. I hope you weren't bothered by my singing. It won't happen again." "Bothered? On the contrary, you have a beautiful voice, and you dance beautifully too. Have you ever had any training?" Aria shook her head shyly. "No, ma'am. We used to sing together with my mother." Angelina's mind was stuck on the word mother. "Where is your mother now?" Aria's eyes filled with tears. "We lost her 3 years ago. Cancer." Angelina's expression became serious. Her maternal instincts kicked in. "I'm so sorry. Do you have anyone else in your family?" "My brother Malik. He's 10. He's also—" Aria stopped, thinking she had said too much. "He's also what?" "He has leukemia, ma'am. He's been undergoing treatment for 3 years. The treatment must be very expensive," said Angelina sympathetically. Aria bowed her head. "Yes, we managed somehow, thanks to this job." "Which hospital is your brother being treated at?" "Children's Hospital Los Angeles, ma'am." "Children's Hospital? I donate to that hospital. They have a great team. I know Dr. Chen. She's really talented and professional." Aria was quite surprised. "Yes, Dr. Patricia Chen is treating Malik." Fate was beginning to weave its web for Aria. "Are you happy with your job here? Do the staff treat you well?" Aria hesitated. She shouldn't mention how Victoria treated her. The young girl felt her voice tremble as she spoke. "If Miss Victoria hears this, I'll lose my job. My brother's treatment will be interrupted," she thought. But Angelina sensed that something was wrong from the young girl's anxious demeanor. Everyone is very nice, Ms. Jolie." However, Angelina understood very clearly that the young girl was hiding something. Aria had tried to hide the truth, but the truth has a nasty habit of coming out. Just then, the devil pressed his foot on her ear. She heard the sound of Victoria's high heels. She was approaching quickly from the hallway. As soon as she heard Victoria's voice, Aria's face changed. Angelina noticed this reaction. The girl was truly afraid of Victoria, and everything became clearer in her mind. "Aria, what are you doing here?" Victoria shouted as she entered the living room. Then she froze when she saw Angelina standing in front of her. "Ms. Jolie, I'm very sorry for disturbing you. Aria, get back to work immediately." "Wait, Victoria," Angelina said in a calm but firm voice. "I was talking to Aria." Victoria was uncomfortable. "But Ms. Jolie, the staff shouldn't disturb you." "They're not disturbing me. On the contrary, it was a very pleasant conversation." Victoria smiled sarcastically. "Of course, but Aria's work isn't done yet, and she seems to have forgotten the rules that must be followed." She fixed her piercing gaze on Aria. Angelina Jolie gave Victoria a stern look. "What rules?" "Cleaning staff are not allowed to chat with anyone during working hours. That's our rule of professionalism. You know that, Ms. Jolie." "I want to listen to Aria, Victoria. The rules in my house are the rules I set," she replied sharply. Victoria's face tensed. "Of course, Ms. Jolie. I was just trying to keep things in order." "Aria," Angelina said, turning to the young girl, "how many hours do you work a day?" 10 hours here, then 4 to 5 hours in the evenings doing other jobs. On weekends, I do extra cleaning. A total of 70 to 80 hours a week." Victoria tried to interrupt. "Angelina, maybe we can talk about this later." "Mind your own business," Angelina said in a firm tone. Victoria was unhappy but had to turn around and leave. Her reign was coming to an end. Then Angelina turned to the young girl. "Now tell me the truth. Is everything okay here?" Aria was unsure whether to say what was on her mind, but deciding she had nothing to hide, she plucked up the courage to speak. "Mrs. Victoria, sometimes she's very harsh with me. She's always finding faults with me, telling me I'm not good enough." "What kind of things does she say?" "That I have no experience, no education, that I'm not at this level. Today she found some small mistakes I made and said she was giving me one last chance." Angelina's eyes lit up. "Small mistakes? What kind of small mistakes?" "Things like water stains, folding towels. But I really try to be careful. I work late into the night." "Aria, you're an incredibly strong girl, and what Victoria said to you is completely wrong. You don't deserve to hear those words." "Do you really think so?" "Yes." "How long have you been working here? And I've never heard any complaints about you. If something like that had happened, I would have heard about it." These words from Angelina flattered the young girl's pride. Just then, Victoria returned. "Ms. Jolie, we need to prepare for tomorrow's meeting," she said, trying to salvage the situation. "Victoria, I need to talk to you about something." Victoria's face changed. "Of course. Aria, you continue with your work." Angelina turned to Aria. "I want to talk to you tomorrow evening, Aria. I want to know more about your brother." "Of course, Ms. Jolie, thank you." After Aria left, Angelina turned to Victoria. "Victoria, is there a valid reason for your behavior toward Aria? Because the way you treat her is unacceptable." "What do you mean, Ms. Jolie?" "She works 80 hours a week for her brother. You, on the other hand, constantly criticize her." Victoria defended herself. "Ms. Jolie, you misunderstand me. I'm not a bad person. However, this job requires discipline. If we lower our standards, the other staff will slack off. The prestige of this house is important." "What standards? Water stains? How towels are folded?" Victoria's mask was slipping. "Ms. Jolie, you don't know the details of this job." "I know very well, Victoria. And what I see is that you are systematically subjecting a young girl to pressure." Victoria was shocked. "Pressure? That girl is fighting for her sick brother, and you're scaring her by threatening to fire her." "I'm just doing my job." Victoria's voice was starting to rise. "No, Victoria. You're not doing your job. You're just abusing your power. And this will stop. I own this house, Victoria. Don't forget that." Hearing this from Angelina, Victoria was about to collapse, but she hadn't yet received the final blow. That night, when Aria returned home, Malik was watching TV. The little boy looked weaker every day. "Sister, you're so happy today," said Malik. Aria was surprised. Her brother knew her so well. "Yes, sweetie, there's hope in my heart today." "Really?" Aria hugged her brother tightly. "Yes, maybe better days are coming." They were still unaware that Angelina Jolie was making a plan that would completely turn their lives around. Angelina couldn't sleep that night. Aria's story wouldn't leave her mind, and she made a decision. The first thing she did in the morning was talk to her lawyer. After the conversation, she had made her final decision. She then called Victoria to her office. "Victoria, I won't be working with you anymore," Angelina said directly. "What do you mean?" Victoria asked in shock. She was trying to grasp the truth. "It's unacceptable that you systematically crushed a girl like Aria who is so determined, and I will never allow that to happen in my home." Victoria panicked. "Ms. Jolie, please. I've been working here for years and putting in so much effort. That girl is fighting to keep her sick brother alive. You're trying to take her job away? How cruel is that? I don't want such insensitive people around me. Our paths are parting here. I wish you success in your future endeavors. You may leave my office now." As Victoria left, she said, "That girl manipulated you, Angelina. You'll regret this decision." But Angelina was certain of her decision. She then called Aria into her office. The young girl entered nervously. "Victoria was fired, wasn't she? It's my fault," Aria said anxiously. "I lost someone's job just because I sang," she thought. "Maybe Ms. Victoria was right. Maybe I am a problem." "No, Aria. This is the result of her own behavior. There's no need for you to feel guilty." Then Angelina stood up. "Look, Aria, as a mother, I know. No child should have to carry this burden. I'll cover Malik's treatment costs." Aria looked at her in disbelief. "Are you serious?" "Yes, I'm very serious. I'm also giving you a raise. You'll only work here from now on. No more working overtime, just working like a human being. Ms. Jolie, I don't know how to thank you. One more thing. You dropped out of high school. Finish it online. I'll provide any support you need to go to college." In the first few months, the young girl still felt like she was in a dream. Waking up in the morning and just going to work. Not worrying about Malik's treatment. She felt like she was in a different world, and it felt very strange to her. 6 months later, Malik's test results were very good. Dr. Chen said, "He's in remission, doing very well. He's on the road to full recovery." Aria and her brother hugged each other tightly in the hospital corridor. She felt like she had finally reunited with her brother, whom she had lived with in the same house for years. Malik would tell the other children at the hospital, "My sister is the strongest sister in the world. She would do anything for me." "Sister, I'm much less sick now, right?" Malik asked innocently. "Yes, sweetheart, you're much better." That evening, there was a celebration at Angelina's house. Maggie, James, and all the staff were there. It was like a real family celebration. Meanwhile, Victoria was working a modest job in another city. When she heard about Aria's situation, she felt regret. Maybe when she was young and facing similar difficulties, someone should have helped her. But it was too late now. Regret came too late. A year later, Aria graduated from high school. While preparing for college, she was still working at Angelina's house, not out of necessity, but out of love. "Aria, you could take music lessons? You looked so happy when you were dancing," Angelina said. "Can I really do that? You can achieve anything in life. And you, do you have someone in your life who gives you hope and supports your dreams?" Aria was smiling now. Malik was healthy. She was getting an education, and her future was bright. The helpless girl from the past was gone. While working in Angelina's garden, she sang songs, played with her brother, and dreamed of her future. The days when Victoria called her inadequate were long gone. Remember, sometimes miracles come from unexpected places. True strength lies in not giving up in the face of difficulties and never losing hope. If you enjoyed this inspiring story, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to turn on notifications. See you in the next story.